Hi everyone, this is a channel with scary stories with which you can relax to the sound of rain or fire. If my channel helps you, please support me by liking and subscribing. Also, you can write from what country you are watching me. Everyone enjoy watching. My dead girlfriend keeps messaging me on Facebook. I've got the screenshots. I don't know what to do. Tonight's kind of a catalyst for this post. I just received another message, and it's worse than any of the others. My girlfriend died on the 7th of August 2012. She was involved in a 3-car collision driving home from work when someone ran a red light. She passed away within minutes on the scene. We had been dating for 5 years at that point. She wasn't big on the idea of marriage. It felt archaic, she said, gave her a weird vibe. But if she had been, I would have married her within 3 months of our relationship. She was vibrant, the kind of girl that would choose dare every time. She was happiest when camping, but a total technophile too. She always smelled like cinnamon. That being said, she wasn't perfect. She always said something along the lines of, "If I cark it first, don't just say good things about me." I've never liked that. If you don't pay me out, you're doing me a disservice. I've got so many flaws, and that's just part of me. So, this is for M. The music she said she liked and the music she actually liked were very different. Her idea of affection was a side hug. She had really long toes, like a chimpanzee. I know that's tangential, but I don't feel right discussing her without you having an idea of what she was like. On to the meat. M had been dead for approaching 13 months when she first messaged me. September 4th, 2013. This is when it began. I had left Emily's Facebook account activated so I could send her the occasional message, post on her wall, go through her albums. It felt too final, and too un-Emily, to memorialize it. I share access with her mother Susan, meaning her mother has her login and password and has spent a total of approximately 3 minutes on the website, or on a computer, total. After a little confusion, I assumed it was her. November 16th, 2013. I had received confirmation from Susan that she hadn't logged into M's Facebook since the week of her death. M knew a lot of people, so I instantly assumed this was one of her more tech-savvy friends fucking with me in the worst possible way. I noticed pretty much immediately that whoever was chatting with me was recycling old messages from M and my shared chat history. The wheels on the bus comment was from when we were discussing songs to play on a road trip that never eventuated. Hello happened a million times. Around February 2014, Emily started tagging herself in my photos. I would get notifications for them, but the tag would generally always be removed by the time I got to it. The first time I actually caught one, it felt like someone had punched me in the gut. She would tag herself in spaces where it was plausible for her to be, or where she would usually hang out. I've got screenshots of 2, from April and June. These are the only ones I've caught, so they're a little out of the timeline I'm trying to write out. http://imager.com/x9g5agj.png http://imager.com/55fwxkt.png. Around this period of time, I stopped being able to sleep. I was too angry to sleep. She would tag herself in random photos every couple of weeks. The friends who noticed and said something thought it was a fucked up bug. I found out recently that there have been friends who have noticed and didn't say anything. Some of them have removed me from their Facebook friends list. At this point, some of you may be wondering why I didn't just kill my Facebook profile. I wish I had. I did for a little while. On days when I can't get out there. Though, it's nice having my friends available to chat. It's nice visiting M's page when the little green circle isn't next to her name. I was already socially reclusive when M was alive. Her death turned me into something pretty close to a hermit, and Facebook and MMOs are my only real social outlets. On March 15th, I sent what I assumed was M's hacker a message. On March 25th, I received an answer. It wasn't until I was going over these logs a few months later that I noticed she was recycling my own words as well. My response seems kind of lackluster here. I was intentionally providing her with emotional bait. This is actually devastating, to keep them interested in their game. I was working off the assumption that the kind of person to do this would be the kind of person that would thrive on the distress of others. I was posting in tech forums, looking for ways to track this person, contacting Facebook. I needed to keep them around so I could gather evidence. Before anyone asks, yes, I had changed the password and all security info countless times. 16th of April. I received this. This seems like word salad. Like all our conversations so far, it's recycled from previous messages she's sent. 29th of April. I hadn't discovered any leads. Facebook had told me the locations her page had been accessed from, but since her death, they're all places I can account for: my home, my work, her mum's house, etc. My response here wasn't bait. Yo, ask Nathan was an in-joke too lame worth explaining, but seeing her say it again just absolutely fucking crippled me. My reaction in real life was much less prettier. I'm not expecting my bond back. Her last few messages had started to scare me, but I wouldn't admit it at this point. 8th of May. I don't really have the words for this. FRE as in G is the first original word she's made. This has given me nightmares that have only started to kick in recently. I keep dreaming that she's in an ice-cold car, frozen blue and gray, and I'm standing outside in the warmth screaming at her to open the door. She doesn't even realize I'm there. Sometimes her legs are outside with me. 24th of May. I wasn't actually drunk. She wasn't an affectionate girl, and it always embarrassed her to exchange I love yous, cuddle, talk about how much we meant to each other. She was more comfortable with it when I was boozed up. I got fake drunk a lot. Her reply is what prompted me to finally memorialize her page, thinking it might help curb this behavior. It might seem innocuous compared to her previous message. It's pasted from an old conversation where I was trying to convince her to let me drive her home from a friend's. In the collision, the dashboard had crushed her. She was severed in a diagonal line from her right hip to midway down her left thigh. One of her legs was found tucked under the back seat. Going back in time. 7th of August 2012. These are logs from the day she died. She was usually home from work by 4:30. This, alongside a couple of voicemail messages, is the last time I talked to her under the assumption that she was alive. You'll see why I'm showing you these soon. Yesterday, 1st of July, 2014. I memorialized her page a couple of days after I received the message about walking. Until today, she'd been quiet. She wasn't even tagging herself in my photos. I don't know what to do anymore. Do I kill her memorial page? What if it is her? I want to puke. I don't know what's happening. I just heard a Facebook alert. I'm too afraid to swap windows and check it. I found a secret room in my house. Someone has been living there and watching me. Series, last week, I discovered that a man had been living in my house. I called the cops, of course. They showed up and checked out the hidden room. After a thorough examination, they arrived at a firm conclusion: a man had been living in my house. So what do I do now? I asked the portly cop who was busy filling out a report. He mumbled, finishing his work and pocketing the notes. You, might want to stay in a hotel or something. He didn't make eye contact. A pause ensued. Okay, I responded. So when is it safe for me to be back home? The cop scratched the back of his head. When this guy is gone. I suppose. I gawked at him. So how will I know when that happens? I wanted an answer. Any answer. He huffed. Look, I don't know. Come back when you feel it's safe to come back. He put his hands on his ample hips. You're saying that you have no idea who this guy is? I narrowed my eyes. No. I think I answered that question already. Every single time you asked it. He glared at me from the corner of his eye. Well, what do you want us to do? Arrest someone who isn't here? They left. I couldn't really afford an indefinite stay at a hotel. Being new to town, I had no friends, and I wasn't likely to make any by calling casual work acquaintances in the middle of the night to request a slumber party. I could move, but that would take weeks of preparation, and my plans would be very obvious to a stalker inside my home, so I went back to bed. I didn't sleep that night. For the next week, I kept my Louisville Slugger on one side of the bed and Lil Doodles on the other. Doodles is my stuffed dog. I considered buying a gun. I quickly realized, however, that people are very misinformed about firearms. I wasn't going to turn into Shirambo by purchasing a pistol from the Walmart, and I truly didn't think I had it in me to end another person's life. So I waited for the cops, who promised to keep an eye out and call me if anything came up. They didn't call me. Do you want to know how to dream about stalkers all night? Have one show up in a secret room in your house. That shit will haunt every sleeping and waking moment. I finally cracked. My mom said that this city was too dangerous for a single woman to live alone. I hadn't told her about the secret room. She'd certainly freak out, but ultimately wouldn't have any more solutions than the cops did. Well, she might tell me to come home and live in my childhood bedroom for the rest of my life, but that wasn't an option for me. Regardless, it was time to accept defeat and tell her that she'd been right. "Hi, Mom. Can I talk to Dad?" I said as soon as she picked up the phone. "What's up, Olivia?" Dad asked as he whisked onto the line. I squeezed Lil Doodles. "Hey Daddy, I had kind of a weird question. So, how you found this apartment? You said it was a friend of yours who gave you the info." Several seconds of clicking interrupted his response. "Does that make sense?" he asked after the line cleared. No, I actually didn't get any of that. It's just that this place is..." The clicking cut me off. "Dad, there's something wrong with the connection. Sorry, honey," he answered as the sound finished. "I don't think you heard me." I clenched my jaw. Things were stressful enough without struggling to make myself understood. I hate it when that happens. "So, something came up that I need to talk to you about. Can you hear me?" More silence, then interspersed clicking. "Daddy. Should I text you instead?" "No," his voice came through. "No, just listen." My stomach felt like cold clay. "I'm listening, Dad." More clicks. "Dad, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I can call back later." His voice came in bursts. One brief moment of clarity shined through. "Love you, Olivia. Talk to you soon." I hung up the phone. Then I lay back on the bed, clutching Doodles tight. And then I finally admitted it to myself. I was alone. I was terrified. And I missed my mom and dad. I closed my eyes and curled into the fetal position. I opened one eye. The clicking had been regular enough for me to memorize it. Maybe a ham radio was interfering with the frequency? Did I know what a ham radio or frequency were? I had a thought that I wanted to dismiss, but couldn't. It rattled around in my head like a trapped bee, bumbling against the inside of my skull until I finally let it out. I opened the other eye. Sometimes we check things that we know are false just to cleanse them from our minds. Even the most ridiculous of notions get trapped by people willing to do the hard work of believing them. So I got up and headed to my computer, thinking of the clicks as I opened Google. I laughed at myself for shaking. Fortunately, this would all be put to rest in just a second. Short, long, short. Pause. Short, short, long. Pause. Long, short. Repeat. My internet was slow. What was it called? Morse sequence? No. That was stupid. Morse sequence, that was it. A quick search revealed Morse code. I looked up the different letters and grabbed a pencil. To my surprise, the cycle actually translated. Surprise became unease, and unease turned to reaching for Lil Doodles and the Louisville Slugger with the same shaking hand. The same 3 letters had been coming through, over and over, from my father's phone. "I've been seeing a man in my backyard for the past 2 nights. I am a male who lives in relatively nice neighborhood. It's your average small-town run-of-the-mill suburbs area with not a lot of people. I am a college kid who's home on break while my parents have gone away, which doesn't help at all. I have a 2-story house. I do not have gun, nor do I have any real weapons other than kitchen knives. I am not on any medication and I have no record of schizophrenia or any other mental illnesses. I barely have any relationships with my neighbors, most of whom are elderly, and the rest I have minimal contact with. I do not have any people in my neighborhood, that I know of, who have reasons to attack or harm me now. Let's get into what has been happening. About 2 nights ago I woke up very late in the night and I went to the bathroom to go take a shit. Now, my second-story bathroom has a window that can see the entirety of my backyard. Directly behind it is a cul-de-sac which you can see directly into. There is a group of trees and pile of rocks and mulch that divides it. Usually I can see everything in my back room without turning on my because lights from my neighbor's house dimly lights the room. As I am using the toilet I look outside and I notice there is a car parked directly facing my house in the cul-de-sac. Now if you have ever seen a cul-de-sac before you would know that when you park you always either park next to the curves of the sac or the sides of the street. This car was directly facing the curve behind my house. I thought this was extremely strange considering whoever parked must have been there to visit someone. But if that were the case then why would they have not parked in one of the driveways? The people who lived behind me were both elderly so they probably didn't have some big block party I didn't know about. And even then only an idiot would park like that. As I stared into the car I could distinguish a figure in the driver's seat, just sitting there. Since the lights were not on in my bathroom whoever was in the car probably couldn't see me through that window. At this point I was determined to see just who the fuck was in there. So I went downstairs, got my binoculars from my dad's closet, and went back to my bathroom to see who was there. Take in mind this is 3 in the fucking morning. What person would be in their car just sitting there in the middle of the winter? As I go into my bathroom, I look outside to find nothing. The car had since left. I thought it was relief seeing as I probably was just freaking out over nothing and the person was just leaving whoever they were visiting. But then again, what are the odds that the moment I notice the car that's the moment that the person leaves? I finally calmed myself down and went back to sleep. The next day a mix of boredom and paranoia got the better of me. I decided it was time for some investigation. I go to my backyard cul-de-sac to see if there was any trace of the person who was there last night. Nothing. I go to my neighbors to see if they had anybody over the other night. Maybe it would clarify just why the fuck somebody would be parked there. I asked both the owners of the 2 houses on the curves the cul-de-sac, all of whom said they did not have visitors. I asked for their numbers and I left. This is when my paranoia really started to kick in. This was fucked up. I had no clue whether the person was coming back later, and I can't call the police as they won't respond to a complaint that isn't even valid. I decide to wait until later to see if the person came back. I spent that night talking with my college friends about it over video chat, all of whom thought I was either making it up or freaking out over nothing. I sign off and watch Netflix until it's pretty late. The entire time I just kept thinking about looking out my window to check, but since my friends had told me I was worrying about nothing and also since I am a bit of a coward I just never checked it. Finally the clock ticked 3:24 a.m., the exact time I woke up the night before. I thought fuck it, might as well check to be sure. This is where I absolutely shit myself. The same exact car was parked, and there was a man in a black hoodie and a ski mask standing right next to it just staring at my house. I immediately ran to go get my phone, dialed my neighbors, none of which answered. I ran back to the window, only to see that he was standing in my fucking backyard. This was no longer a burglary attempt, because if it was he would be looking through my lower house windows trying to break in. This had to be some sort of a stalker. I decided fuck this and opened up my window and screamed at the top of my lungs, "Who the fuck are you?" No response. "I'm going to call the fucking police, get the fuck off my property," I yelled. Finally the man spoke, "Have a nice day," in like that cheery way a cashier at the store would say when you are leaving. The man waltzed, and I literally mean waltzed like a happy cartoon character, back to his car and left. I called the police department immediately. They asked me if I had any friends who were trying to play a prank on me. I said no. Like I said, this town was relatively small and the police did jack shit. They told me that if it happens again to call them immediately. I am shitting myself right now. It's currently 11 p.m. and God knows he'll be back tonight. I am going to be looking out my window all night waiting for him. I'll keep you all in touch if anything happens. Wish me luck. Edit 12:24 a.m. I am currently staring outside, looking out my window waiting for the man to come. I have informed my neighbors about his arrival and they have told me they are also on the lookout. I feel extremely nervous, but at least I have my neighbors helping me out. I just want this to be over. Edit 1:24 a.m. Nothing has shown up yet. Got a call from my mom about a half hour ago. I haven't told them about any of the shit happening. I just told her I loved her and hung up the phone. My friends have been Snapchatting me asking me about this shit. I said that I'll try to get a picture of him if I can. If I do, I'll upload it so you guys can see. Edit 1:34 a.m. Neighbors told me they see a car parked up the street from them. One of my neighbors, who's in his mid-40s, says he's going to check it out. My foot is tapping the floor like crazy right now. Edit 1:37 a.m. False alarm. Turns out it was just the car of a family who just got home. Fuck me, the suspense is making me sick. Edit 1:48 a.m. One of my neighbors says he is going to sleep. This isn't good. I just hope the rest of them hold out for me until the rest of the night. I don't know if I'm going to fall asleep at all. I've already chugged 2 cups of coffee and I'm as alert as possible. Edit 2:11 a.m. I was looking out my window when I heard something in the bushes of my backyard. I couldn't tell whether it was the guy, the wind, or some animal, so I turned on the light in my backyard and saw nothing. I think the paranoia is getting to me. Edit 2:17 a.m. Alright, it's official. I am losing my shit. I heard something crash in my kitchen and I ran down to see what was happening. Some pan had fallen over from the shelf. Nothing notable, but it scared the absolute shit out of me. I went back upstairs to start looking out the window again. At one of the streets right of my backyard, which is about 200 yards away, through the trees I saw a car at a corner flashing its brights repeatedly, and then making a right, driving away from the street leading to my house. What the fuck is going on? Is this motherfucker taunting me? Taunting? Edit 2:32 a.m. Alright. You/Joined1 has freaked me the fuck out. I'm out of here. I'm bringing my laptop and my wallet and phone with me and staying in my neighbor's house. I'm not staying here another second after reading that man. Fuck that. Edit 2:40 a.m. I am currently at my neighbor's house staring into my backyard/the cul-de-sac. I walked out my back door and sprinted and rang the doorbell as fast as possible. They saw me and opened the door immediately. Scariest shit I have ever done. I was worried he was gonna pull up any second. Now I just wait and hope for the best. Edit 2:51 a.m. Nothing out of the ordinary has happened. I am dreading what will happen at 3:24 though. I saw 2 cars pass by my house. I couldn't tell if they were the same car as the one the stalker was using. At the same time, I can't tell if it was the same car passing by both ways. This guy is playing tricks on my mind. I am ready to dial 911 at any second now. I called my parents and told them what is happening. They said they will be on their way home tomorrow. God, please protect me. Edit 3:01 a.m. This guy is definitely coming. A car came up the street on the cul-de-sac and started flashing its high beams again and left. He is trying to fuck with my mind. Thank God I left the house, because the direction he is going, he is definitely coming back around to my house. Fuck, I'm scared and I'm not even in my house anymore. The moment I even see him outside his car, I am calling the police. Edit 3:11 a.m. My neighbor and I both agreed we are going to leave the house and drive to the police station as soon as we see him parked near my house. My heart is racing. I can't believe I had just waiting in my house alone for the past couple hours. What the fuck was I thinking? Edit 3:20 a.m. Still nothing yet. Even if he doesn't come, I sure as hell am not going back. I'm not even sure if I'll stay here. This is the scariest shit that has ever happened to me, holy fuck. Edit 3:25 a.m. Someone has parked in my fucking driveway. I am getting the fuck out of here. I'll try to update you guys on mobile or later when if they arrest this guy, but I am leaving now. Thank you all for the support. And thanks you/Joined1, you may have saved my life. Edit 1:15 p.m. 2/19/17 For those who are concerned, I am alive. I went to the police station and I have been questioned and they are working on finding the guy. They haven't found him yet, unfortunately. I went to a hotel and got some sleep and I just woke up. I'll write more about this in a new post, but for right now I am just taking some time to get this sorted out. Thanks to everyone for their support. I've been seeing a man in my backyard for the past 2 nights. Update too high everyone. For anyone who has been reading this, I am alive and well but far from safe. As my neighbor and I were waiting for the coast to be clear, I saw my garage door open and at approximately 3:27 a.m. And right then my neighbor and I booked it to his car. As we were leaving, I saw the light turn on in my bathroom, and I nearly threw up realizing how easily he got in, and how I had been just a sitting duck an hour prior. I have been fantasizing over and over of how if I had stayed in there, my neighbors would have called me telling me he was in my driveway, and I would have heard my garage opening with dread just knowing I was absolutely fucked. Once we were in the car, we sped off to the police station. Police gave me the usual rundown of questions in this type of situation, like whether I knew this man, when and where my first encounter with him was, and whether I could identify his car / if I managed to write down his license plate. I told them he had only come 2 times prior, and that both times it was too dark to tell even with the street light. When the man had parked in my driveway, one of my neighbors who had still been on the lookout said that she saw the car was a gray Volkswagen with no license plate. She went on to say she saw the man type in the code to my garage, go inside and turn on each of my lights, as though he was checking the whole house. The man had stayed there for 5 minutes according to her, and proceeded to get back in his car without taking anything and sped off down my street. She notified the police immediately, and they have been searching for him since then. Nothing has come up. We returned to find that the house had been left relatively unscathed. The police did not find even a trace of DNA. Whoever this man was, he was meticulous as all hell, and somehow had gained the knowledge of what my garage code was. It makes me shiver to think he may have been watching me even as I typed it in earlier in the week. God only knows what other knowledge he has to track me down. My parents have still yet to return home from their trip as their plane was delayed. So as of right now, I am alone and still at the hotel with only a bottle of Jack Daniels to console me. A couple police cars has been stationed around the area of my house looking for the guy, and they are all waiting upon his arrival. I am not leaving this hotel until this fucker is caught. I don't think I will be able to sleep tonight. I am hoping this is the night he finally can't track me. The police have advised me to stop using any form of social media that can be indicative of where I am. That means no Snapchat, no Instagram, no Facebook, nothing. They told me that I can use my laptop as long as I remain as low profile as possible. This means all I can do now is wait for the police to call me and tell me that the stalker has been caught. Now I am gonna try and figure out just who this guy is and why he might try to be stalking me. Theory 1. My 9th grade Italian teacher. So I went to a private school, and this teacher had basically been one of the biggest lunatics I had ever met in a school system. He was very outspoken in the way he described politics, and very mean-spirited during his time teaching. He would always make fun of students, had sometimes fallen asleep in class, and would always make perverted comments towards girls I knew. So one day, I decided to write an email to the dean asking him to please fire the man from his teaching position and explaining the unacceptable behavior he had while working. It worked, and I have never seen the man since. Now, the reason I think he could be a possibility is because he never particularly liked me. In fact, I feel as though he singled me out in a lot of instances and picked on me. I don't know if he ever found out I sent the email, but if he did, I am extremely worried. I can't tell if it was him or not when he spoke in my backyard, as I was in full adrenaline mode while I was screaming at him. I would say this is not a likely suspect, but I'm just not sure. Theory 2. My Christian deacon from back in 2nd grade. I used to be part of this church program a while back when I was in elementary school. Out of all the head figures, there one that always stood out to me, Deacon Anthony. He was a middle-aged man, very soft-spoken, and he had always been very particularly nice to me and my friend Kevin. He would often bring us candy, talk to us about our home life, and treated us more fairly than the rest of the kids. One day my friend Kevin had told me that Deacon Anthony had asked Kevin if he wanted to go home with him to hang out. Kevin said no to him and told me. I told my parents about this, and they had immediately contacted the church and told them about it. After that, I never saw Deacon Anthony again. My parents later told me that they had contacted the board and he was removed from the church. If this is the guy, he must have had a massive personality shift after that incident, because the way the man happily told me to have a nice day did not match up with the one he had when I was younger. Theory 3. My classmate Derek from 8th grade. Derek was one of those insecure types who would always get off to making other people feel small. He was your standard 8th grade middle school shy-teeter who deserved nothing but a good ass whooping, which unfortunately never came. However, what did happen was I had started a rumor about him that I wished to not bring up, but it pretty much ruined his reputation and made him a laughing stock. He never found out it was me as far as I could tell, but from what I heard from my hometown while I went off to public school is that at our local public high school the rumor hadn't stopped, and he turned into one of those quiet kids who never talked. Keep in mind, this kid literally had told my whole friend group to stop hanging out with me. So as far as I can tell, this revenge was extremely justified in my mind. This may in fact be the prime suspect, as he would most likely know where I live. I tried finding any sort of social media about him, but nothing came up. This guy is a ghost and I have no idea what he has been up to. Theory 4. Some complete stranger who I have no association with. Maybe this is just a genuine old school stalker who takes pride in picking out their prey from a random crowd. No one I have seen in this town for the past week has seemed particularly odd. The only one that comes to mind was this weird cashier at July 11th who seemed particularly in love with his job. He may have some form of Asperger's syndrome, or just maybe he just takes pride in being a cashier, but he was always very polite with his customers when he had been interacting with them. I had gone in to get a soda from the fountain, and as the store was empty he had asked me, "Hey, is that all you're getting?" I said, "Yeah, this is all." So he continues, "Oh well, congratulations. It's free." I thought, sweet, a free soda, this guy is the shit. I thanked him a ton as he was smoking a cigarette outside, and I said have a good one and left. Now I know what all of you must be thinking. This is definitely the guy. He's a fucking cashier, for crying out loud. Well, I am just not sure. This guy was probably in his 30s. Seemed extremely grateful for his low-end job, and just seemed content with what he had. He didn't strike me as a stalker, but then again I haven't been back to the store since, so he maybe still be there or not there at all. Time will tell. I might have to stop by tomorrow and do a little more investigating. As we speak it is 11 p.m. again, and I am staring out my hotel window scrolling through Reddit. I am still dreading the moment I see a car with flashing high beams pull into the parking lot, so I will probably just be looking out my window all night again. I will post more updates if necessary. I appreciate you all, bye for now. Edit 12:43 a.m. I'm reading all your comments guys, and just so you guys know, I can't get a hold of a gun as easily as most of you think. I live in a state where that shit does not fly. The best thing I have right now is pepper spray and baseball bat. Edit 1:37 a.m. Call me a lunatic, but I left my room to get some fresh air. I couldn't stand being in this small-ass hotel room one more second. I was bugging out like crazy though. Every person I saw seemed like a threat to me. I started talking with this one guy in the hotel lobby. Says he's been traveling from state on some sort of self-indulged journey across the country. I asked him if he has any experiences with stalkers, and he told me that he had been receiving anonymous calls a couple years back from some guy. I asked if he has ever encountered one in his backyard or anything, and he just looked at me funny. I explained to him the situation, and he wished me the best of luck. Nothing out of the ordinary, but it was nice to have some real human interaction while I am losing my mind. Edit 1:46 a.m. Alright, one of the janitors must be fucking with me. I spent the last 10 minutes searching for my phone and asked someone outside my room to call it for me. I listened for the ringing, and it's in the fucking safe, and the password is not the one they gave me. What the fuck? This is fucking ridiculous. Whoever fucking did this is going to get torn a new one. I'm going to the manager right now to get this sorted out. Edit 2:08 a.m. I'm demanding a different room. I am not staying in that same fucking room one more second. The whole staff is in there now trying to figure out the safe password. Meanwhile, the manager is looking for the janitors who have been in my room to ask what the fuck they were thinking. Fuck this. I'm tired, I'm worried. And now I just lost my fucking phone. FUCK, edit 2:24 a.m. It's not the garage code, guys, I checked. Even if it was, why would it be, and how would the fucking stalker even get into my hotel room, let alone rewire my safe? Edit 2:26 a.m. Guys, I'm not leaving the hotel, okay? I already paid the money to stay here. I don't have any other place to go that's not 100 miles away. I have no car. I got here in an Uber car, and at least here there is over 100 people staying here. The stalker is not gonna come into a hotel full of people. Edit 2:40 a.m. Okay, now you guys got me worried. I'm sitting in my hotel room, all alone with no phone. No way to call an Uber. No way to call the police. I'm starting to think one of the janitors got bribed to do this. I now not only have no way of driving away from here, but I have no way on contacting any family or anyone for that matter of getting me away from the hotel. I'm going to wait another 45 minutes, and if they don't open the safe, I am demanding they call an Uber for me, and I'm driving the hell out of here. Edit 2:53 a.m. Someone just knocked on the door saying the safe is open. I told them alright, and then they asked me to come get it. I asked him if he can slip it under the door, but he said I need to go get it myself. I told him I would in a couple minutes, and that he'd be waiting. I don't know what to do, guys, you're all fucking with my mind. Edit 3:10 a.m. The man said that my phone is in the main lobby if I want it. I am on my laptop next to my window, and I could have sworn out of the corner of my eye I saw a car flashing its high beams. I don't know if I should hold out till morning or get my phone and leave. Edit 3:14 a.m. Guys, I am not waiting until 3:24 for this guy to fucking come into my room and jump me. I am packing and getting the fuck out of here. I'll keep you guys posted on mobile when I get my phone back. Edit 3:16 p.m. Alright guys, I'm staying at a friend's place for right now. Just to clarify, when I said not a trace of DNA was found, I meant that there was nothing that was found to trace this guy back. Like a glove or fingerprints on the garage keypad. The police did not do a full investigation, obviously. The guy still hasn't been found. My neighbors have told me no one has been back to the house, and my parents are currently staying at my aunt's down south. I got my phone back and there was a missed call from some guy named Nick Sullivan. What's strange, his name was never put in my contacts. I have never met anybody named Nick Sullivan in my life, and I don't know how it was in there. I tried calling back and it just went to voicemail. Creepy shit nonetheless. Maybe I'm just paranoid, I don't know. I'll see if I can make another update tonight. Bye for now. Edit 4:24 p.m. I just posted an album on Imager of pictures I took yesterday when I went back to my house. See for yourselves. I've been seeing a man in my backyard for the past 2 nights. Update 3. Hello again everyone. If you have not read my last update, I have since left my hotel and I took an Uber to my friend's house an hour away. As I got in the Uber, the driver had been waiting for me to come out, and I got into his car. I nearly shit myself as he turned on his car to find that the car, the one directly across from it in the parking lot, was a gray Volkswagen. I couldn't tell if it was the same one from the night before, because A, this one had a license plate, and B, I have never gotten a good look at it up close before, so it could just be any other person's car. As we were leaving, I looked up to the hotel, and in one of the rooms there was clearly a figure looking out the window. I'm not jumping to any conclusions right now as to whether it was him. I'm not sure if it was the same room as mine. I'm honestly keep questioning myself at this point as to whether all this shit is real or just paranoia. Maybe the guy actually did find me and I was just about to be slaughtered, maimed, or worse. Or maybe this is just a classic case of the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, and I am just finding ways to freak myself out. One thing that is for sure is that this guy is definitely still hunting me. I got a text from Mr. Sullivan, Nick, or whatever the fuck he wants to call himself, and I am still petrified after seeing it. At exactly 8:34 p.m. today, he sent me a video, and the only other thing he said in the text was "I see you." Video is posted. I am positively sure this is my house. Now I want to know, when was the video taken? It probably was not taken last night, as police were all watching my house, so that means he either took it the first 2 nights or as recent as today, and I'm really hoping that it's the latter. If he took it today, that means he probably still thinks that I am staying there. Unfortunately though, This guy seems far from stupid, and if he has stalked me enough to know my garage code, he most certainly must have noticed I am no longer coming back there. Either way, he is trying to terrorize me, and he is probably trying to get me to flee my house for his perfect moment to strike. In some twisted way, I expected worse. I don't know what makes this psychopath tick. Maybe dead animals, maybe dead people, or just seeing his victims crumble under all the stress he is inflicting on them. What I am dreading is if he actually manages to find me at my friend's place. This guy we'll call Tom, not his real name obviously, took up the mantle of protecting me, and if this guy manages to find me, I will never forgive myself for putting this on him. I offered to pay him money, but he refused, so for the past 2 hours we have just been doing nothing but drinking beer and playing video games to calm my nerves. Tom is a bit of a hick, I would say. He loves dipping, sitting on his front porch drinking beer, and he has a pretty large collection of guns, probably the best friend to have in a situation like this, just as you guys have been begging me to get a hold of. So all in all, right now I am feeling the most secure I've felt out of all the days since this shit has started. I have informed the police about my situation and the video, and they told me they had not seen a car parked near my house at all in the past day. I gave them the number, and they told me they will do their best to try to triangulate its position. Now that it's getting late, my friend and I have decided we need to start securing the place in case of intruders. His house has security alarms. He lives on a relatively busy street, so no one can park near the house without parking in the driveway. And he has been staying off of social media, as I have asked him to do for my safety. The anxiety hasn't stopped, but this is the first time I have a friend by my side to help me with this situation, so I feel a little better. He gave me one of his pistols and we started shooting in the range in his backyard despite having never shot a gun before. We are currently on his porch just talking as I write this down. I am very grateful for all your support for the past couple days, guys. Updates will come as always, everybody. Have a good night, everyone. Hopefully nothing notable will happen for once. Now we wait. I've been seeing a man in my backyard for the past 2 nights. Update 4. I'm sorry for the wait, everyone, but I have been on the road all day. I posted another album on Imgur showing pictures of my hotel from the other night. Last night when I posted the 3rd update, many people in the comments had told me I needed to stop using Reddit as it would only lead to find my location, so I didn't. I turned off my laptop and put my phone on airplane mode for the past day. I decided my best course of action would be to calm my nerves and finally get some shut-eye. I signed off of Reddit, jumped into my buddy's couch, and finally went to sleep. At approximately 3 in the morning, my friend woke me up telling me I needed to check something out. I immediately grabbed the revolver I had left on the table next to the couch, and we went to the front porch. In the distance we could see a car parked all the way down the road. I'd say it was about 300 yards and still visible because of a street light. The following was the conversation best I could remember it. Tom, see that car down there? I was dozing off, and the moment I snapped out of it, the thing just showed up out of nowhere. It was just sitting there. Me, how long do you think it's been there for? Tom, I'm not sure. I saw it there and stared at it for a good 2 minutes. After that I took my flashlight and started flashing it on and off. After that the car shut off and some guy got out and waved and had walked into the woods. There is a wooded area near my buddy's house that if you walk through it you can go walk into a large open field in his backyard. There is a fence dividing the field and from his backyard, but it can be easily hopped. Me, do you think we should go check it out? Tom, no, this guy could be going into the woods and coming back round towards my back door. You have to stay here and I'll go check it out. Me, alright, if it's a gray Volkswagen we need to leave immediately. I want you to record the license plate and look inside to look for anything notable. That means ropes, knives, duct tape, anything sketchy. We need to get out of here. Tom, alright, wait inside and defend the house. Make sure no one gets inside. I went back inside and stared out the window as Tom approached the vehicle with his 12 gauge. I went to the back of his house, stared out his backyard window, and saw some figure start walking across the field. This was particularly strange as there were no houses visible in this field, and he just seemed like he was walking towards nowhere. He climbed over a hill and he was no longer in view from the window. I went back to the front window to look at the car and Tom was checking it out. I felt relieved for the slightest moment as I felt like maybe, just maybe, I was overreacting. Then his home phone rang. I looked at it and saw the caller ID and it was my area code, not Tom's. At this point I had my phone still on airplane mode, so I assumed it was someone from my neighborhood/family trying to contact me. I felt almost intrusive seeing that I was answering a call to a home that was not even mine, but now was not a time to take chances, so I answered. I picked up the phone. Me. Hello, caller. Silence for a few seconds. Me. Excuse me, who this? Caller. Oh, excuse me, sir, my apologies. Is this the owner of the household? Me. No, I am just a friend of the owner, he is currently outside. Who is this? Caller. Silence for another few seconds. At this point I just felt that feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when you realize you fucked up. I just revealed that I am here alone and whoever is calling just realized that. Me. Hello, caller. Who else are you with, sir? Is it just you? At this point I was shaking and I could barely speak without stumbling my words. I decided the best things to do was lie like no tomorrow. Me, no, we are having a party and there are a couple other people here. I ask again, sir, who is calling? Caller. Are you sure about that? I was just walking by and saw that there is only 2 cars in his driveway. At this point I completely lost my shit. Me. Listen, just fucking tell me who you are. Why the fuck are you calling this house so late? Caller. More silence. Me. Hello? Can you please just fucking tell me? Caller. I apologize, sir, I may have the wrong number. Tell whoever owns this house to call back. Thank you. Then he hung up. Tom had come back and said the car was not a Volkswagen and had a license plate. He said the windows were tinted and the doors were locked, so there was really nothing he could make out. I told him about the caller, and he said he had no idea whose number that was. He called back, no answer. He called from a restricted number, no answer. An hour passed by as we were sitting on the porch and we heard an audible slam from his back door. We both looked at each other, and he motioned to follow him around back. We saw nothing out of the ordinary. We looked around everywhere for footprints, but still nothing. When we had gone back to the front porch after countless minutes of searching, it was approximately 4 in the morning at that point. It wasn't until 10 minutes after we got back to the porch that we noticed that car 300 yards away was gone, and we hadn't even noticed. I haven't gotten any sleep since last night. I told him that I wanted to leave his house because I need to keep moving, and he said he wants to come too. He locked up all his doors, brought some guns, and we drove off at 6 in the morning. Police still haven't done jack shit despite all the valuable intelligence I gave them, and I've been on the road all day with my friend. I drove a lot, and he slept in the back. We are currently at a McDonald's as I type this. We were joking saying if we do end up getting kidnapped, murdered, attacked, these no-sleep posts will make one hell of based on a real story script. I'm just tired, guys. Tired of being stalked, tired of being hunted down, and tired of making these goddamn posts. I just want this to be over. If anything happens tonight, I'll let you all know. Bye for now. Bye for now. I've been seeing a man in my backyard for the past 2 nights. Update 5. Final update. I'm sorry to inform you guys, but I think it's about time we wrap up the show. My parents have returned home and both the police and my neighbors haven't seen the man ever since I left. I've been on the road for the past few days and I just want to stop running. My parents informed me that they got a hold of a revolver now and all I want to do is just go home, sleep in my own bed, and be done with this madness. I'm starting to think that all of this has all just been in my head. The guy hasn't made any notable appearances in my life since that night, and maybe that video he sent was just from the first 2 nights I saw him. I don't know. I guess that's been the problem ever since the start of this, is that I have just been overreacting to this whole phenomenon. Maybe this guy is just some deranged burglar. Maybe he came to my house thinking I was somebody else. I don't know for sure. Tom and I have been on and off the road, only stopping to get food or to piss. A lot of comments have been telling me to either stop using Reddit and to stake it out and confront the man myself. I've come to realize that I have been making a poor choice documenting everything that has happened on Reddit. God only knows if this man has been using it to his advantage. But more importantly, I've been hiding and running away from him all this time. I thought it was finally time I confront him myself. Now I am not going to make an effort to contact him or find him, but if he decides he wants to come and attack my house, my family, and myself, then he will finally meet his maker. However, I thought a good start would be to pay the July 11th guy a visit today, and we decided to confront him. I just needed to be sure that it wasn't him. We parked in front of the July 11th at about 8 at night, about 3 hours ago. This is the conversation we had to the best of my memory. Tom, is this the guy? Me, yeah, this is him. Let's just go in and ask him a few questions. We just need to scare him a little and see how he responds. Tom took his pistol from the back seat and put it in his holster. Me, dude, is that necessary? Look man, we aren't even sure if this is the guy. We can't just pull a gun on him and make him shit himself. Tom, just taking some precaution is all, and if this is the guy then we gotta be careful. And with that, Tom got out of his car and started walking in as I followed. As soon as we walked in, he asked Cashier, "Hey boys, how are we doing today?" We both gave him a stern look, so he responded Cashier. "Hey guys, come on, what's our mood?" I looked at Tom and he looked back at the cashier and asked Tom, "Lovely day, isn't it?" I could see that the guy was getting visibly nervous and began to sweat a little. Cashier, "Hey man, I couldn't help but notice that gun in your holster. Pretty nice gun, that's an M1911 Colt, right? My dad had one of those." We didn't break eye contact. Me, "Yeah, I would say it's a pretty nice day, isn't it? How's your day going?" Well, I went directly in front of the counter and got face to face with him. Me, "Hey, can I ask you something?" I could see the cashier swallowing and he coughed Cashier, "Yeah, sure, what is it?" Me, "Do you drive here to work by any chance?" Cashier, "Oh, haha, negatory, my friend drops me off." I looked at Tom and he looked back at the guy. "Tom, you best not being lying to us." The cashier broke Cashier, "Look guys, I don't want any trouble if you are here to rob the place. That doesn't concern me. I'm just a guy who works here, alright? Just take the money and go if that's what you want." Me, "We aren't here to rob anything, just asking a couple questions if that's alright with you." Cashier folded his arms and said, "Cashier, sure, ask whatever you need, what's up?" Me, "When does your shift end?" Cashier, "Oh, usually around 3 in the morning." "Hey, what's all this about, boys? Are you guys undercover cops or something?" Me, "Have you seen a gray Volkswagen in the past couple nights you've been working here?" Cashier, "Actually I did. The night before you came in there was a guy who came in after you the other night." Me, "Did he buy anything?" Cashier, "Yeah, he bought some cigarettes and dipping tobacco. He didn't say much, but he said he had a long night ahead of him." Tom, "I take it he gave you ID?" Cashier, "Yeah, he did." Me, "What was his name, do you remember?" Cashier, "I think it was Nathan Silverstein or something like that." Me, "Nick Sullivan?" Cashier, "Shit, I'm pretty sure that was his name. What's it to you, by the way?" Tom, "Can we see your ID for a second?" He showed us his ID and this guy seemed to be completely innocent. Me, "Alright man, thank for your time. The police might come later to ask for your camera feed from that night, but I appreciate your help." We left, and that was the end of it. Finally, after all these days of running, we finally got a decent lead on this guy. We called the police and they are currently going over the tapes. This was an amazing feeling now that we will finally have a good lead on this guy now. I can finally go home. Tom has been such a good friend the past couple days. He has stuck with me through thick and thin, even through these rough times, and I am eternally grateful for what he has done for me in this time of need. After a long day of traveling, he told me that his girlfriend has been awfully worried about him, and this made me feel even worse about the situation. Finally told him that we needed to part ways, and that I wanted him to go home and rest, and that I apologized for putting him in danger. He told me not to sweat it, and that it was a pretty exciting experience for him despite it maybe putting our lives in jeopardy. I gave him some money to help him with his troubles. He is going to his girlfriend's house, he said, and he will be staying there for a while until this gets completely sorted out. No more running, no more fear, no more stalking. I am finally done with this, guys. I can't wait to go home, see my family, and be safe and sound in my home again. I want to thank you all for your support through these past few days. It has really meant a lot. At some point I got texts from my parents saying it was safe to come home. When I called them, everything sounded normal. However, my mom sounded somewhat worried and flustered about the whole situation when my dad put her on the phone. I asked her what was wrong, and she had simply told me I'm just under a lot of stress and followed it by "just come home please, we miss you." I feel really sorry for them. I don't know why, but I somewhat blame myself for all this shit happening. If they haven't seen the stalker at all, then this must have to do with me and me alone. I must have done something to cause this man to torment my family. As we speak, Tom has just left back home and I am finishing this last update at Starbucks. I'll call an Uber and I'll finally be home. If the guy gets caught, I'll link you guys to a news article or something, but this is the final update. Thank you all for the advice and enthusiasm. Peace. Edit 12:12 a.m. Just came home and there aren't any cars in my driveway. I'm a little worried. Calling my parents. Edit 12:14 a.m. Alright, no answer from my parents. Gonna try the garage code now. Edit 12:16 a.m. Well, my parents must have changed the garage code or something. I'm banging on the door and no one is fucking answering. Edit 12:18 a.m. Jesus, it's fucking cold, haha. Edit 12:21 a.m. Alright, well, lights are turning on in my bedroom, so they are obviously home. Edit 12:24 a.m. Have a nice day, everyone. Edit 12:34 a.m. LOL guys, I'm just kidding, y'all need to chill. Edit 12:35 a.m. More updates to come guys, lots and lots of updates. At 12:38 a.m. Just wait for 3:24 a.m. everyone. 911, what is your emergency? Yeah, hi, this is going to sound kind of strange, but there's a man stumbling around in circles in my front yard. Could you repeat that, sir? He looks sick, or lost, or drunk, or something. I just woke up to get a glass of water and heard snow crunching around underneath my front window, so I peeked out. I'm looking at him now. He's about 10 yards away from my window. Something's not right. What is your address, sir? 1617 Quarry Lane, in Pinella Pass. I'm going to send a squad car your way, but that's quite a ways out. Are you alone in your house, sir? Yes, I'm alone. Can you confirm that all of your doors and windows are locked? Stay on the phone with me. I know that my front is definitely locked, but I'll go check my back door again really quick. I appreciate your help, by the way. I know this is kind of strange, but I really hope that... Sir? Are you still there? He's still in the yard. But what the fuck? He's upside down, sir. Stay on with me, what is happening? He's staring right at me. But he's standing on his hands now. He's perfectly still, staring straight at me. He's doing a handstand and he's smiling at me and not moving. He's doing a handstand, sir? I don't know how he's facing me and standing on his hands and he's got this huge smile and he's perfectly still. What the fuck? Please get someone out here now. Sir, I need you to remain calm. I've put out the call and an officer is on his way. His teeth are so huge. What the fuck? Please help me. Sir, I want you to try and keep an eye on him, but make sure your back door is locked again. We need to make sure all possible access points are secured. Can you talk me through and confirm that your back door is locked? Okay, I'm walking backwards now and keeping him in my sight. My hand is on the back doorknob now. It's locked. I need to check the deadbolt, so I'm going to take my eyes off of him for a split second. Alright, sir. Help is on the way. Just stay on the phone with me. Everything's going to be alright. Sir? Are you still there? His face. It's up against the glass. Sir, I need you to speak up. What is happening? I looked away for a split second and now, his face. It's pressed up against my front window. His teeth are huge and he's still smiling. There's no color in his eyes. Jesus, please help me. Why won't it just fucking move? Sir, I need you to go to the nearest room and lock yourself inside of it. Do you have a basement or a bedroom that you can lock yourself in? He won't stop staring. He's going to hurt me. Sir, I need you to listen to me. Lock yourself somewhere safe until the officer arrives at your house. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm going to lock myself in my room. And you're positive that you're alone in your house, correct? Yes, I'm alone in the house. Wait a moment. He's moving. He's shaking his head. He's telling me no. He can hear us. He's telling me I'm not alone. Sir? Sir, are you still there? I heard a loud noise. Is everything all right, sir?